Okay, good afternoon. Once again, welcome to my live. I went over, got a fresh haircut today. You know, hope I look fresh. My eyes, I have allergies, so my eyes water, and a lot of times you gotta, allergy season will pass and then it will be okay again. But I can see clearly everything is good. Furthermore, I want to elaborate more on the truth of humanity and why that is important to us as human beings, why it's important to have the foundation of truth, because there are many deceptions, confusion, there's illustrations, as I can say. Basically, there's many authors, creators, you know but there's only one author to the truth. And that if the truth becomes your foundation, or you know the family's foundation, then it is a source that it doesn't matter what generation it takes place, right? It eventually will arrive to the same answer. So it didn't matter if you started 10 decades or 20 decades ago. At the end of the day, if it was like, one or two, you will still get those results after 10 decades, regardless of what may happen in that sense, right? And so the difference, right, is the lies change. So if it was two this decade, next generation, it could be three or four, right? There's so many changes that take place. And because of these changes, right, you can't know which direction the lie is in. It's sort of like the wind. The wind, nobody knows where it goes, but you only feel the wind that is there, right? And regardless of the impact of it, the effect of it, you still can't really see with your naked eye, right? And so that changes the position that you will make, or the position that you will take in that sense. Now, that foundation that we have, which is the truth, the standards of you know, creating a basis out of it when you are either creating or making a decision, or when you are assisting in that method. These things happen regularly in our society today. And if there is not a correct foundation on the built formula, right? Formula to success, because true success is not about the fact that you generated money or the fact that you got a position, because those can always be altered, like modified to a degree, right? But other kinds of ways, like, are you doing it genuinely? You know, pause for a sec, just pausing. You know, right? So, just give me a sec. Cancel. Yeah. So what happens in that sense, right? You get an idea of how society should be or what it represents in the long term, right? What is your purpose of moving on? Sometimes many people may feel like they're quitting. Why do this social media thing? Why try to encourage people? They hear these words from people every single day. How come then it's different from you? And I want people to understand it's the basis of, your truth, your basis of your creativity, your basis of who you are as a human being, right? And what you want to do, because your purpose is to be fulfilled. That is your whole reason of being alive, right? Is to fulfill your purpose. When you have fulfilled it, then exactly that is all that is needed of you from the Father, the Creator, right? But what if, you think it should be something else, right? Like define how long you want to live for. Because, you don't want to die, but you don't want to die from the flesh perspective, or you don't want to die from the spiritual, because the spiritual has a different avenue on how they, reconcile. Meaning you never go, you never die, you never fade, but the power is there. However, it changes from one system to the next. Meaning, you can live 70, 80 years old. The time will come where, the spirit will separate from the flesh. The flesh would eventually, go back to its regular, environment, and then your spirit will go back to the eternal side of the world, right? Which is not the physical world, but essentially it is a world that it's not here, you can't see it, but it's beyond the comprehension of what we see as physicality, because your true self is internal, not external. Your life will never vanish. True peace is not given by people. It's given by God. If God gives you peace, nobody can take that from you, because human beings, they have to remember that they go to sleep at night and that they wake up, but they don't know how they wake up. Do you see what I mean? And so once every human being get this concept of understanding, then they know that regardless of their state of mentality, the strategies that they structure together, regardless of all these things, right? They still are subject to a timeline, and they are still subject to need to know, meaning that they do not know everything. They know some things, but what is beyond their capability, which is them sleeping and not knowing if they're going to get up the next day, or not knowing how long you're going to live, changes the tables. We can be smart, intelligent. Look, society has created so much advancement, right? And it's humans that did it. Humans created robots. Robots didn't create humans, right? Exactly. So what is that given? What is that aspect of things? Think about it. Hmm? People playing sports today. People are encouraged to play sports. It's not the fact that they play sports, that gives them the edge, right? It's what they learn, the skills that they learn, because you see those skills, you're going to portray it into a different things that you are going to do in your life. And it doesn't essentially have to involve sports. But if you learn these skills, you can then elaborate it to different things, because not everybody is going to, become a professional. But that doesn't mean not everybody can learn that lesson that they, that brings, right? There's some players, they're not good players, but they're exceptional coaches. How come? because their skill learning is different, right? It teaches you strategy, but know that do not dwell it fully and put everything in one basket. Learn the lessons. What I have learned is when I was younger and I seen, people playing, oh, how'd you make this? How'd you make this? You always, if you dedicate yourself, you will always get your opportunity to become a star or to become great. But the work ethic is what lots of people do not want to involve themselves in day out. What am I going to say? What am I going to do? How am I going to, pass this level or roadblock or this stage? How am I going to make it to the next level? Well, your will has to be filled, right? You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get laughed at. You're going to get mocked. People are going to disrespect you. People are going to cross you, right? They want you to stop. Oh, if you don't stop, all of these things will take place. But what are you going to do? Because the people do not judge you. You understand? And think about it. Like I said, your human being have a life outside of this, what we know of living. And we don't provide that life. It is God, the creator that created us, that does this. You see, and it's a position whether you believe or you don't believe, you're subject to these things, right? Whether you believe or you don't believe, you are subject to these things. So what happens if you're subject to judgment regardless of your belief or who you are as a person, right? Does that change the narrative, right? Because I know life, the happy times, but the best type of life is the basic type of life. You don't have too much money. You don't have too much things, but you value your company, how you interact with each other, your communication. Because you see, love to the degree, right, transforms to strength, supernatural strength, supernatural power. There's a reason why your legs are also considered, your second and your third heart, because they pump blood the same way as your heart pumping blood. So they are considered. But that shows you a significant number of 3, which equivalent to power, right? Symbols and signs are important, They are truly important. God never creates anything that there's not instructions or methods or for a reason. Society has changed. People can turn on you. It happens. It's very heartbreaking too, and it does hurt, right? But I encourage you, if you go through that, how you go through it to evade that naturally, use that process. Geniuses say they talk to themselves. Why are they talking to themselves? Because maybe they have realized that when you commence with yourself, you will stumble upon a series of importance of dialogues. Thinking out loud, speaking out loud gives you, right, a verbal understanding of your thoughts. And a lot of times when it's said out, you are able to have a better side of reasoning. And that is true, right? Because sometimes you don't have anybody to talk to. Or, You do have people to talk to, but they're not genuine, or they're not on the level of intellect. So the conversation becomes very dire. Like it's basically you expressing, but it's not being received and elaborated in the way that you want, because it is not understood the way you want it to be understood, right? And sometimes you commerce. You can communicate, elaborate, you know, be able to see the format of thoughts that you have and what patterns to basically later on collectively connect, right? The truth is one, I tell you, man. I told you, you don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody really knows. There's no such thing as safe neighborhoods. People would like to say that. But the environment could change the next day, and then all of a sudden it changes, right? All these things are happening. What is the reason why? And what is the thoughts of people? You could be at work. If the rapture is hit, you could be at work. You could be sleeping. You could be somewhere where you weren't supposed to be, regardless. But wherever you are you prepared? Because you see, God did not say he's going to go and judge animals, he's going to judge humans. Whether you're very secret or secret. He created you, so he knows where you hide, your secret hiding place. He knows that. And you see, that's what it's important. That's what's important. Because who are you? And what did you do? What have you done? You know, did you live for the people? Or did you live for your purpose? You understand? That is two things. People can live for people and not live for their purpose. They can live for people, be good, everything good. You know, they get along with everybody. They connect with everybody. But then they did not live their purpose. And there's people that live their purpose, but they don't get along with anybody. And it's so funny is because the way we work, how we set up our systems is the same way we are, in ways judged, right? But we are just copying the original form. So we're not perfect, but God's way obviously is perfect, right? And so these are thoughts that process, right? A human being, when, let's say, they're by themselves, they're doing something, or they have a thought pattern that does not, sit well with their reality. So what do they do about that? What kind of changes do they take? What kind of methods are they, strategizing, right? Putting together in order to position themselves in a better way. All of these things is part of decisions that's made every single day. So it is up to each and every individual to recognize who they are and what their purpose is. What is your purpose? What is the method of your purpose and who you are, and what are you going to do in order to, collectively bring your purpose together? Because if your purpose is on one side, somebody else's purpose is on the other side, eventually you can make a commerce connectivity where it will come together to help for the greater good. So if one is pushing the wheel, then one is lifting the barrel, and one is pushing one thing, and the other is happening. Hold on. Well, what I'm saying, stay motivated. You can always become the best version of yourself through dedication on a daily basis, through work patterns, you know? I mean, if you exercise and people say, oh, you don't have to exercise, you and your body is different from somebody else's body. The person that's telling you that you don't have to exercise, maybe because, right? Maybe because they have done it without you knowing, and now they're trying to what? Steer you in the wrong direction. And so you have to basically have self confidence enough to say, well, I have started this goal, I'm going to achieve this goal. The distractions will come, however, it won't be able to, change what I want done. It won't be able to change the results that I want in my life, or, what I have planned, right? Because your plans are important, right? So let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Stay motivated. Have a great day, and bye now.